Well, hey, Minorcan Navy, how about we start today on the bridge of the Dali, looking out over the containers, the stack there. And I think it's important to show this really to see just how impossible it is to see the bow of this ship when she's operating. Of course, if need be, I'm sure they could have observers up on the bow, but it just goes to show you just how limited your visibility can be on one of these container ships, especially when they are completely full. Keep in mind that close to 200 of these have been taken off. Now, these images, courtesy of Unified Command, we see that big piece of the bridge on the starboard side of the Dali. Well, this is a piece that we captured with our 4K camera when this piece was removed by the Weeks 533 crane. The aerial image shows it to you, but when you see this thing suspended by the 533, it really starts to grab you just how big these sections really are. Massive indeed. Again, these images are a couple days old from Unified Command. These are, and then we've got some new ones coming up. We are back in Georgia and wanted to share a little bit with you guys, and they really had some good images down from Unified Command's group. Images from the ship, which I found just simply fascinating. You see the roadbed, bits and pieces of the span of the bridge laying across the deck. Look at this, guys. 4 lanes of interstate laying across the bow of the ship. And we've got some more of these images that are going to come up, and we're going to see actual damage that was done in the ship. They kind of give us a kind of a walkway through some of the passageways and underneath some of these containers. It's going to be something else. Up close to the stack, that's a lot of containers, guys. A lot of containers. So we know that they have moved a lot of these out of the way so that they can facilitate cleaning or removing the bridge section and then hopefully be able to get the Dali out. We've heard that that's going to happen very soon. We expect to see, as we've heard in the media, some charges that are used to help facilitate the cutting of the steel. These images here of split open containers just ripped in two from the collision and the impact from the bridge hitting the ship. Just some really crazy images. And then look at these containers. Another thing, when they go to pick this up, it looks like some of this debris is indeed going to fall right down into the water. It's a good thing that they got the claw, and it looks like it's going to be busy once the Dali gets moved. There's going to be a lot more debris to get moved out. Here we see some personnel and marking doing some cutting on some of those pieces of steel that make up those spans going across the Patapsco River. And these are some of the images I thought you guys would find fascinating. I certainly did. Concrete rubble, bits and pieces of bridge rebar, all just interwound all through the Dali following the collapse of the bridge. And you can see how that the metal was just ripped, just shredded, just as if it were paper. good images brought to us here by Unified Command. Again, we appreciate what they do, and when they do give us these images, we like to share them with you guys. Some of you may have already seen these. Some of you haven't, and I thought it was important you guys really get in here and take a close look at what it looks like aboard the Dali. And maybe some of you guys can understand why simply lifting the bridge span is not an option. Just total devastation in that area of the bow of the ship. And then you can see some of that structure of the ship, which has actually been twisted. You can see the rebar from the concrete there, where the concrete is just shattered when it hit the ship, and now it's just a huge mess. And steel just laying on top of the roadbed, and then steel on top of that. And when you see some of this stuff and see how massive it is, it's a task. It really, really is a huge amount of work that's got to be done. And look at the ship right here, how these pieces of the bridge have just peeled back the deck as that bridge came down. And now that piece has become part of the ship now. All that has to be separated. Guys, part of the crew here working to cut some of those massive steel beams. And I thought this was an interesting picture they had on their website. Look through and you see the clamshell bucket. It looks like from the Dale Pyatt with a load of debris looking down through that system of bridge. Now the Chesapeake 1000 was over in Sparrows Point yesterday, Sunday morning when we were live, and then she moved back out, and we understand that she did work with the Claw, with Gus, back out at the site, did a little grappling out there, but then she has returned back to Sparrows Point, and if the Chesapeake 1000 is going to be part of the lift to remove those pieces of bridge span that are on there, they're probably going to, the Claw will probably come back off of the Chesapeake 1000. We'll probably see it come off, and then it'll go back out with just this regular block where they can sling rig it, those pieces that they got to pick up. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Of course, we're back in Georgia, but this is something we just noticed, that the Chesapeake was moved back just before lunchtime today. Now, looking around at the site and what's going on there, we see the Douglas Day, Shannon Dan. These are all Don John assets. The 533 is over here as well. Of course, she is with the Resolve Group. Some of the other support vessels that are here. There's the Columbia, New York, one of Don John's, and then some of the Resolve vessels alongside the bow, and of course the Dali there itself. Interesting trip today as we take a quick ride with the on-scene incident commanders from the Coast Guard and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Hope you liked seeing the video today. If you did and you haven't done it yet, we would appreciate you clicking on that subscribe link. Give us a thumbs up. Leave us some comments. Most of all, hey, we want you guys to be safe out there.